Think you know soul? Think again. We've already honored 10 giants who reshaped music history, but the story doesn't end there. Get ready to discover 10 more powerhouse artists whose passion, innovation, and sheer talent lit up the stage and soundtrack of our lives. I'm Alexander, and today we're turning the spotlight on the next wave of trailblazers. From Barry White's velvet bass to Junior Walker's sax-fueled fire. These are the voices that kept the groove alive, the stories that prove true legends never fade. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because you won't want to miss a single beat of these incredible journeys. Buckle up. This ride through R&B, soul, and funk icons starts now. Barry White was a music legend known for his deep voice and smooth love songs that touched the hearts of millions. Born on September 12, 1944 in Galveston, Texas, and raised in Los Angeles, Barry grew up in a tough neighborhood. He found his love for music at an early age, inspired by classical music and gospel choirs. Despite facing challenges in his youth, including time in jail as a teenager, Barry turned his life around through music. He began his career in the 1960s, working behind the scenes as a producer and songwriter. It wasn't long before he became a star himself. His breakthrough came in the 1970s with songs like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, and You're the First, the Last, My Everything. His deep, rich voice, combined with lush orchestration and romantic lyrics, made his music instantly recognizable and widely loved. Barry White wasn't just a singer. He created an entire sound that became a signature of soul and R&B. In his personal life, Barry married Glodian James, a fellow singer from the group Love Unlimited. The couple had several children and shared a life filled with music. Though their marriage faced ups and downs, their bond remained strong. Barry was known for his charismatic presence and smooth-talking charm. Offstage, he enjoyed a luxurious lifestyle filled with fine clothes, flashy cars, and elegant homes. However, he was also a private man who valued his family deeply. As the years went on, Barry's health began to decline. He struggled with high blood pressure and kidney disease, conditions made worse by his weight. Despite his health problems, he continued to record music and perform for his fans. His last public appearances showed a man still full of love and passion for his art, even as his body grew weaker. In 2003, Barry White passed away at the age of 58 due to kidney failure. His death really marked the end of an era in soul music. But you know, his voice and message of love continued to inspire. He left behind a legacy of timeless music, millions of fans, and a unique sound that, honestly, will never be forgotten. Barry White's songs are still played at weddings, on radio stations, and in movies and shows all around the world. His influence on modern R&B and pop music is, well, undeniable. More than just a singer, Barry White was a voice of romance, unity, and heart. His legacy lives on in the soft, deep tones of every love song that tries to capture the feeling he gave so effortlessly. Isaac Hayes was a soul music legend who made a big mark on the world with his powerful voice, bold style, and unforgettable music. He was born on August 20th, 1942 in Covington, Tennessee. Life wasn't easy for young Isaac. His parents died when he was a baby, and he was raised by his grandparents in poverty. But he had a strong passion for music, learning to play piano and saxophone as a child. He started performing in church and school, where people quickly noticed his talent. Hayes began his music career at the famous Stax Records in Memphis, where he worked as a songwriter and producer. He helped create many soul classics behind the scenes before stepping into the spotlight as a singer himself. His deep, smooth voice and emotional delivery stood out. In 1969, his album Hot Buttered Soul made him a star. But it was his 1971 hit Theme from Shaft that brought him worldwide fame. The song won him an Academy Award and a Grammy, making him the first black man to win an Oscar for Best Original Song. Isaac was known not just for his voice, but also for his look. He had a bald head, wore sunglasses, and draped himself in heavy gold chains. This bold image became iconic. Beyond music, He acted in movies and was the voice of the character Chef on the animated TV show South Park, which introduced him to a whole new generation of fans. You know, Isaac Hayes' influence really stretched far beyond his original music fans. His iconic style, his roles in movies, and his unforgettable voice as Chef on South Park helped him connect with entirely new generations. In his personal life, Isaac Hayes married 4 times and had 12 children. Family was really important to him, and he often spoke about his love for his children and, the importance of staying grounded. Later in life, Isaac became a member of the Church of Scientology. He followed its teachings and lived a spiritual lifestyle focused on helping others and, honestly, just staying positive. Isaac Hayes valued his family deeply and found strength in his faith. His involvement with the Church of Scientology became a big part of his life, guiding him to focus on personal growth and supporting those around him. Through all of life's ups and downs, he worked hard to stay true to his values and remain connected to the people he loved. Despite his success, Hayes had health problems in his later years. He had a stroke in 2006 and was never quite the same afterward. Still, he continued to perform and make appearances when he could. Sadly, on August 10, 2008, Isaac Hayes passed away at his home in Memphis, just 10 days before his 66th birthday. The cause of death was a stroke. Isaac Hayes left behind a legacy of music, style, and influence. His deep voice and soulful music helped shape the sound of the 1970s, and his work continues to inspire musicians today. From his groundbreaking soundtrack for Shaft to his emotional ballads, Hayes gave the world music filled with feeling, power, and soul. He proved that no matter where you come from, with talent and determination, you can make a lasting difference. Junior Walker was a masterful saxophone player and soulful singer whose music brought energy and joy to the Motown sound. Born Autry DeWalt Mixon Jr. on June 14, 1931 in Blytheville, Arkansas, he moved with his family to South Bend, Indiana as a child. Music ran in his blood, and he taught himself to play sax by listening to loud blues records. In the early 1960s, he formed a band called the All-Stars, and when they signed with Motown in 1963, they became Junior Walker and the All-Stars. Their breakout hit came in 1965 with Shotgun, a driving, horn-blasting tune that shot to the top of the R&B charts and crossed over into pop success. Walker's gritty, joyful saxophone and his growling vocals made the song impossible to ignore. He followed up with other classics like What Does It Take to Win Your Love and Roadrunner, each showcasing his blend of blues, R&B, and soul. Offstage, Junior led a quieter life than many of his peers. He married his high school sweetheart Mary, and they raised children together in Michigan. Family was everything to him, and he often spoke about how important it was to come home after tours and spend time with his wife and kids. Despite his fame, he remained humble, giving music lessons to neighborhood children and supporting local community events. Walker continued recording and performing through the 1970s and 80s, though the heights of his Motown days were hard to match. He stayed true to his roots, keeping his style raw and heartfelt. In the early 1990s, health issues began to trouble him. After battling lung cancer, Junior Walker passed away on November 23, 1995, at the age of 64. His death marked the end of a remarkable career, but his music lives on. Every time you hear those opening sax notes of Shotgun or the sweet melody of What Does It Take to Win Your Love, you feel the spirit of Junior Walker, a man who poured his heart into every note and left an indelible groove on the world of soul music. Donny Hathaway was a gifted soul singer, pianist, and songwriter whose music still moves listeners today. He was born on October 1, 1945 in Chicago, Illinois, and raised in St. Louis, Missouri by his grandmother, a dedicated gospel singer. From an early age, Donny showed extraordinary musical talent, learning piano and singing in church choirs before his teenage years. His grandmother's influence and the rich gospel tradition shaped his deep connection to music and inspired the soulful sound that would define his career. After high school, Donny Hathaway earned a scholarship to Howard University in Washington, D.C., where he studied music formally. At Howard, he met fellow student Roberta Flack, and the two would go on to record some of the most enduring duets in soul music. While still in college, Donny began working as a songwriter and producer for labels like Curtom Records, writing and arranging songs for major soul acts. His work behind the scenes laid the foundation for his own rise as a solo artist. In 1970, Donny released his debut album, Everything is Everything, which showcased his warm baritone voice, sensitive lyrics, and lush piano arrangements. Songs like Trying Times and The Ghetto resonated with listeners for their honest portrayal of urban life and social issues. His second album, Donny Hathaway, included the ballad A Song for You, which became one of his signature songs and has since been covered by countless artists. Donny's music combined gospel fervor, jazz sophistication, and heartfelt emotion, earning him critical acclaim and a devoted fan base. Donny Hathaway married Eulaula Hathaway in the early 1970s, and together they had two daughters, Lala and Kenya. He cherished his role as a husband and father, and his family was a source of great joy and comfort. His daughter Lala went on to become a Grammy-winning singer, carrying on her father's musical legacy. Those who knew Donny describe him as gentle and generous, always ready to mentor young musicians and share his love of music. Despite his success, Donny struggled with severe mental health issues, including paranoid schizophrenia and deep episodes of depression. These challenges affected his personal and professional life, leading to hospitalizations and canceled performances. Donny sought treatment and tried medication, but his condition often left him feeling isolated and fearful. Friends and collaborators remember the creative brilliance he displayed in the studio even during his darkest moments. Tragically, on January 13, 1979, Donny Hathaway was found dead outside his room at the Essex House Hotel in New York City after falling from the 15th floor. He was just 33 years old. His death was ruled a suicide, and the music world was stunned by the loss of such a powerful and compassionate artist. In the wake of his passing, tributes poured in from fellow musicians and fans who mourned the voice that had brought them comfort and hope. Donny Hathaway left behind a compact but profoundly influential body of work. His duets with Roberta Flack, especially Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You, remain standards of soul music. His solo recordings, from the uplifting This Christmas to the moving Someday We'll All Be Free, continue to inspire and console listeners. Decades after his death, Donny's music still resonates, reminding us of the healing power of a true artist's voice and the fragile humanity behind it. Wilson Pickett was a powerful force in soul music, known for his raw vocals and energetic performances that brought gospel fervor to the secular stage. Born on March 18, 1941 in Prattville, Alabama, Pickett grew up in a sharecropping family where music was central to community life. As a child, he sang in church choirs and learned early how gospel music could move people's hearts. His childhood was marked by hard work and struggle, but it also instilled in him a deep passion for singing. In his late teens, Wilson moved to Detroit, Michigan, where he began performing in local clubs. He joined a gospel group called the Violinaires, but soon became drawn to rhythm and blues. By the early 1960s, he recorded his first singles, though they saw only modest success. Everything changed in 1965 when Pickett recorded In the Midnight Hour at Memphis's famed Stax Studios. The song, with its distinctive rhythmic groove and Pickett's urgent vocals, became a huge hit, reaching the top of the R&B charts and crossing over to pop audiences. It remains one of the most enduring anthems of soul music. Following this breakthrough, Wilson Pickett delivered a string of classics, including Mustang Sally Land of 1000 Dances and Funky Broadway. Each track showcased his incredible range, from gritty shouts to smooth melodies, and his ability to infuse every note with the raw emotion of his gospel roots. Fans loved his dynamic stage presence, which often saw him leaping into the crowd or pacing the stage with unstoppable energy. Despite his success, Pickett's personal life was tumultuous. He fathered multiple children with different partners, reflecting a lifestyle often in the fast lane. His relationships were sometimes strained by his demanding touring schedule and heavy drinking. Pickett was known for partying hard after shows, and his offstage behavior occasionally led to legal troubles. Arrests for drunken driving and altercations became part of his story, but they never overshadowed his musical genius. Wilson Pickett's career spanned decades. He collaborated with other legends, recording with Aretha Franklin on Hey Jude and performing alongside the Rolling Stones. Yet the highs of his career were balanced by ongoing struggles with alcohol and the pressures of fame. He continued to record and perform through the 1970s and 1980s, though his later releases never matched the chart success of his mid-1960s hits. On January 19, 2006, Wilson Pickett died suddenly at his home in Reston, Virginia, at the age of 64. The cause was a heart attack, linked in part to years of heavy smoking and drinking. His passing sent shockwaves through the music world, prompting tributes from fans and fellow artists who remembered him as one of soul music's most electrifying voices. Wilson Pickett left behind a rich legacy of music that still fills dance floors and radio waves today. His recordings capture the spirit of an era when soul music was a powerful force for expression and community. Even now, when you hear the opening drum beat of In the Midnight Hour or the playful guitar licks of Mustang Sally, you feel the passion and power of Wilson Pickett's voice. He proved that soul music could be both deeply spiritual and irresistibly funky, and his songs continue to inspire new generations of singers and musicians around the world. Jackie Wilson, known to fans as Mr. Excitement, was one of the most electrifying performers of his era. Born July 9, 1934 in Detroit, Michigan, Jackie grew up immersed in music and church choirs. His father worked hard to support the family, and young Jackie found joy and expression in singing. By his teenage years, his talent was clear. He blended powerful gospel-infused vocals with show-stopping dance moves that would become his trademark. Wilson's professional career began in the early 1950s when he joined the R&B group Billy Ward and his Dominoes. He quickly became the group's star attraction, wowing audiences with his soaring voice and dynamic stage presence. In 1957, he struck out on his own and embarked on a solo career that would help shape the sound of soul and early rock and roll. His hit songs, such as Lonely Teardrops, Your Love Keeps Lifting Me, Higher and Higher, and To Be Loved, showcased his remarkable vocal range and his ability to convey deep emotion. Offstage, Jackie's life was filled with both joy and turmoil. He married multiple times and fathered several children, always trying to balance family life with the demands of fame. Despite his success, Jackie faced legal troubles, including a highly publicized divorce and financial disputes. He struggled at times to manage the pressures of his career and personal responsibilities. Jackie was known for his generosity toward friends and family, often sharing his wealth and helping young artists. Yet he also battled health problems, partly from the non-stop pace of touring and performing. In September 1975, during a performance at the Latin Casino in New Jersey, Jackie collapsed on stage from a massive heart attack. He clutched his chest, fell to the floor, and was rushed to the hospital. The heart attack left Jackie in a coma. For the next 8 years, he remained in a semi-conscious state, cared for by loved ones and medical staff. Although he showed brief moments of awareness, smiling or nodding, he never fully recovered his health or returned to performing. Fans and fellow musicians visited him, hoping to see the vibrant entertainer who once thrilled crowds with his energy. On January 21, 1984, Jackie Wilson passed away at the age of 49. His death marked the end of an era. Tributes poured in from across the music world, remembering the man whose voice and stagecraft had inspired countless artists from James Brown to Michael Jackson. His funeral was attended by celebrities, colleagues, and adoring fans who celebrated his life and mourned his loss. Jackie Wilson's legacy lives on through his recordings and the artists he influenced. His pioneering blend of gospel, R&B, and rock paved the way for soul music's boom in the 1960s and beyond. His style, powerful vocals paired with thrilling showmanship, remains a benchmark for performers today. Even decades after his passing, songs like Higher and Higher still ignite dance floors and radio waves, reminding listeners of Jackie's unmatched excitement and talent. Though his life was cut short, Jackie Wilson's spirit endures in every high note, every dramatic pause, and every dance step that echoes his electric presence. Mr. Excitement left an indelible mark on music and on the hearts of all who experienced his magic. Gil Scott Harren was a groundbreaking poet, musician, and activist whose words sparked conversations long before hip-hop was born. Born on April 1, 1949, in Chicago, Illinois, he moved with his mother to Tennessee and then to New York City after his parents' divorce. His mother, a journalist and teacher, encouraged Gil's love of literature and social justice. By the time he was a teenager, Gil was writing poems and performing them at open mic nights in Harlem, blending his rich baritone voice with themes of politics, race, and inequality. In the late 1960s, Scott-Heron attended Lincoln University, where he studied English and drama. He began setting his poetry to music, creating a style that mixed jazz, blues, and soul with pointed social commentary. In 1970, he released Small Talk at 125th and Lenox, but it was The Revolution Will Not Be Televised that made him a cultural icon. With its spoken-word delivery and sparse, funky backing, the song captured the era's civil rights struggles and questioned the role of television in shaping public opinion. Gil's albums throughout the 1970s and 1980s, such as Pieces of a Man and Free Will, addressed poverty, police brutality, and corporate power. His lyrics were honest and fierce, yet also poetic and deeply human. Audiences respected Gil not only for his artistry, but for his commitment to speaking truth to power. Behind the scenes, Gil kept his personal life private. He fathered several children, though he rarely spoke in public about his family. Those close to him remember a man of warmth and generosity who mentored young musicians and friends. Despite his public voice for change, he struggled with addiction for much of his adult life. Drugs and alcohol took a toll on his health and led to multiple arrests and stints in rehab. In the early 2000s, Gil attempted a comeback with the album I'm New Here, produced by Jamie XX. It introduced him to a new generation and reminded listeners of his power as a storyteller. Though his voice was aged, his words remained sharp. Gil Scott Harren's health declined in his final years. He battled liver and kidney disease and reportedly contracted HIV, which weakened his immune system. On May 27, 2011, at the age of 62, Gil passed away in a New York City hospital. His death was attributed to complications from HIV and years of substance abuse. The news of his passing led to an outpouring of tributes from musicians, writers, and activists who credited him as a pioneer of spoken-word performance and a precursor to rap and hip-hop. Today, Gil Scott Harren's legacy lives on. His music is still sampled by hip-hop artists, and his poems are studied in classrooms worldwide. He showed that music could be a powerful tool for social change, and that a clear voice, coupled with honest words, can inspire a generation. Though he is gone, Gil's revolution continues in every lyric that challenges injustice and celebrates humanity. Curtis Mayfield was a pioneering singer, songwriter, and guitarist, whose music gave voice to the civil rights movement and shaped the sound of soul and funk for generations. Born on June 3, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, Curtis grew up in a tough neighborhood where he learned early on that music could lift spirits and inspire change. He taught himself guitar as a teenager and began performing on Chicago's West Side, where his talent soon caught the attention of local record producers. In the late 1950s, Curtis co-founded the group The Impressions, writing and singing lead on hits like Gypsy Woman and It's All Right. His smooth tenor voice and optimistic lyrics earned the group widespread acclaim, but it was in the 1960s and 70s that Curtis truly became a musical and social force. He wrote the anthem People Get Ready, a gospel-infused call for unity that became synonymous with the civil rights movement. The song gave hope to those fighting for equality and remains one of the most beloved tracks in soul music history. Curtis's solo career began in 1970, and he continued to combine socially conscious messages with innovative funk grooves. Albums like Curtis and Superfly featured songs such as Move On Up and the title track Superfly, which tackled issues of poverty, drug abuse, and the struggle for justice. His production style, layered guitars, string arrangements, and his distinctive falsetto became a blueprint for countless artists who followed. Offstage, Curtis was a devoted family man. He married Althea Mayfield, and together they raised several children. Curtis balanced his busy touring and recording schedule with the responsibilities of fatherhood and took great pride in his home life. He was known to be generous with both his time and his earnings, often helping friends, family, and community programs in Chicago and later in his adopted home of Los Angeles. Tragedy struck in August 1990 when Curtis fell from a stage platform during a live performance in Brooklyn, New York. The fall crushed his spine, leaving him paralyzed from the neck down and confined to a wheelchair. His doctors feared he would never walk again, yet Curtis refused to give up on music. He adapted his home studio for recording and continued writing songs, playing keyboards with a special device attached to his chin and mouth. His spirit and determination inspired fans and fellow musicians alike. Despite his disability, Curtis released new music throughout the 1990s, including the album New World Order in 1996, which was praised for its powerful messages and innovative production. He continued to speak out on social issues, using interviews and public appearances to champion civil rights and support young artists. On December 26, 1999, Curtis Mayfield died at the age of 57 from complications related to diabetes. His passing marked the end of an era, but his influence endures. His songs remain staples on radio stations and playlists, and his socially conscious lyrics continue to resonate in today's world. Curtis Mayfield's legacy is one of courage, creativity, and compassion. He used his music as a platform for social change and never backed down from addressing difficult issues. Through triumph and tragedy, he remained committed to his art and his message. In every chord, every melody, and every word, Curtis's voice still calls for justice, unity, and hope, reminding us that good music can also be the soundtrack for progress. Clyde McFatter's smooth, emotive tenor helped define the sound of early rhythm and blues and laid the groundwork for soul music. Born on November 15, 1932, in Durham, North Carolina, Clyde grew up singing in church. His rich voice and natural flair for performance attracted attention early. In 1953, he moved to New York City and joined Billy Ward and his Dominoes, where he quickly became the group's star. Hits like 60-Minute Man showcased his vocal talent and set him on a path to music history. In 1953, Clyde left the Dominoes to become the original lead singer of the Drifters. With songs such as Money Honey, Such a Night, and Honey Love, he guided the group to major success. His voice was smooth yet powerful, conveying both warmth and passion. He helped the Drifters become one of the most beloved rhythm and blues groups of the 1950s, and his style influenced generations of singers. Clyde's personal life had highs and lows. He fathered several children and cared deeply for his family, but his career took him on the road constantly, straining relationships. He struggled with alcoholism, which led to missed performances and damaged his reputation in a business that demanded professionalism and reliability. After a series of lineup changes and legal battles over the Drifters' name, Clyde McPhatter launched a solo career in the early 1960s. Though he never matched his earlier chart success, he recorded beloved tracks like Treasure of Love and Lover Please. Friends remembered him as generous and kind, always willing to help young artists find their voice. By the late 1960s, Clyde's health was in decline. Years of hard living and alcohol abuse had taken their toll on his body. On June 29, 1972, at only 39 years old, Clyde McFatter died in New York City from complications of heart, liver, and kidney disease. His death shocked the music world, and fans mourned the loss of one of R&B's true pioneers. Clyde McFatter's influence lives on. He bridged gospel's emotional depth and R&B's rhythmic drive, creating a blueprint for soul music. Artists from Sam Cooke to Stevie Wonder have cited him as an inspiration. Though his life was short, his impact on American music endures in every smooth tenor who followed in his footsteps. Billy Preston was a gifted keyboardist and singer, whose musical talent earned him a place alongside rock legends and a unique nickname, the Fifth Beatle. Born on September 2, 1946 in Houston, Texas, Billy moved with his family to Los Angeles as a child. Immersed in his church's gospel choir, he showed extraordinary skill at the piano and organ from an early age, performing with Mahalia Jackson when he was just 10 years old. His gospel roots stayed with him throughout his life, giving his playing a heartfelt, soulful quality. Preston's big break came in the 1960s when he began working as a session musician at Capitol, and Capitol released recordings for soul artists. His infectious energy and joyful spirit caught the attention of the Beatles, who invited him to join their Get Back sessions in January 1969. His contributions on songs like Get Back and Don't Let Me Down added a vital spark to their sound. In recognition, George Harrison reportedly referred to him as the Fifth Beatle, a rare honor and a testament to Preston's talent and easygoing personality. After his work with the Beatles, Billy Preston embarked on a successful solo career. He also collaborated with the Rolling Stones on albums like Sticky Fingers and Exile on Main Saint. Despite his musical achievements, Preston faced personal struggles. He never married and had no children, choosing instead to focus on his music. Over time, he developed an addiction to cocaine, which led to legal troubles, including arrests for possession. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Preston's health began to deteriorate. He was diagnosed with kidney disease and underwent dialysis treatments. In 2005, complications worsened when he went into a coma after heart problems. Friends and family rallied around him, hoping for a recovery, but his condition remained fragile. On June 6, 2006, Billy Preston passed away in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the age of 59, from kidney failure and related complications. News of his death prompted an outpouring of tributes from fellow musicians and fans, who remembered Preston not only for his extraordinary skill at the keyboard, but also for his warm, humble personality. George Harrison called him one of the kindest, most gentle men you could ever hope to meet. Today, Billy Preston's music lives on in the countless recordings he enriched and in the many artists he inspired. His gospel-infused style and joyful spirit continue to shine through every note of his work. As the fifth Beatle, he left an indelible mark on rock history. As a solo artist, he gifted the world songs that still bring audiences to their feet. Though his life was cut short, Billy Preston's legacy endures in the rhythm and soul of his timeless music.